Hey guys, I'm back. It is actually a lovely, beautiful day out. There's birds out, Tato's out, Ethan's out. It's great. I'm in short sleeves outside. This is wonderful. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's supposed to be raining, but we got FireCord in the last Never Enough Tactical. We have previously gotten SurvivorCord and been talking with some folks, some of you folks. We've been wondering how the FireCord really works. We've seen a little bit about the SurvivorCord. One of the things that has been discussed was, number one, an actual test of the FireCord, but why not put it side by side with the SurvivorCord and kind of see how the fire lighting capability on each of them works side by side. So that's what we're gonna do out here today. Here you go, Tato. You gonna give a sniff? I'm gonna give a sniff for each one? Cool. We're not gonna do anything too complicated here today. I'll put the kind of, it's pricey for each one. So I'll put some of the specs, on screen as we go. We'll go over the pricing. We'll cut a bit off of each one. We'll look at how it is to light, how well it catches with, the nuclear butane lighter with a standard Bic lighter, and then the good old ferro rod, and just see how they stack up against each other. One of the key differences to keep in mind as we get going is that the FireCord is really just 550 cord with a fire lighting element, and the SurvivorCord has all that other stuff inside. It has the copper wire, it has the monofilament, it has the jute. So, the SurvivorCord gives you a lot more than the FireCord does. So they can't be compared, head to head just in terms of interchangeability for a fire starting cord. It's kind of apples to oranges that way. But, they both offer a fire starting element inside the cord. So that's what we're going to look at. So to start off with, if you take a look at the two cords together, you can see that your SurvivorCord is a bit thicker than your FireCord, because of all the extra stuff that goes inside. And it is a bit stiffer too, you can feel it. I've never worked with the FireCord, so I know that cutting SurvivorCord's not all that difficult, not much more so than standard 550 cord. The first thing I want to do is, I just want to do a little cutability here. And, cutting wise, there's a little added extra, push required to cut through the SurvivorCord because we have that copper wire in there, we have that monofilament, we have that extra thickness. But other than that, one is not really that much harder than the other. This one really is just like cutting plain old 550 cord. Nothing more to speak of there. For the kind of first test I want to do, you can see inside each one you've got that red fire starting cord. So with the SurvivorCord, focus for me, buddy. For the SurvivorCord, it's a red and white striped, and for the FireCord, it's just red. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually remove that cord from each one. And it's good that they're kind of marked like that, so they're easy to tell apart. Oh, you know what? I misspoke. I'm sorry. That's just, that red and white is just their trademark kind of string. The wax jute is their flammable string in there. And I gotta separate it. So these are the two fire starting elements, actually, right here. The FireCord, a little bit bigger. I don't know if that means it's gonna burn better or anything, but for the first test, let me cut these in half. First thing I'm gonna do is just with a regular old Bic lighter, let's give a light to each one of these and see how they do. A little windy out here. It's not bad. Light's pretty easy. There we go. Looks like the SurvivorCord jute went out. Now, I'm not going to time lapse this or anything. We're just gonna watch the flame go. Ethan is running around trying to shoot the Death Star in the background. You getting the Death Star? Yeah. Yeah. And even in the wind right now, which is blowing, not too strong, but you can see it working on the flame. Looks like the FireCord is actually burning a little bit better there. Good, you get it. say the FireCord is turning out to be the winner here. This ground is pretty wet, so I'm not worried about it kind of getting away from me or anything right now. So we saw how that went. For this next one, I'm going to kind of mess up the jute a little bit. I'm going to get some of these strands open, see if they catch a little better, see if they burn a little better. See if we can get it as effective as the FireCord. And we're going to go to the old butane lighter, which of course is a much hotter, stronger flame. You can't see it in daylight, unfortunately. It's the cool green flame. But I expect this to just light the stuff up right away. Yeah, there we go. So FireCord, of course, lights very easily. And the survivor cord is going. Now let's see if it continues with some of those loose fibers. Yeah, looks like it's petering out again. Okay. Tell you what, let's try this. Looks like the survivor cord went out, the FireCord went out too. Not great in the wind, I guess. Got a little bit of wind blowing, not much, but still. No. I don't know. Is that on camera right there? It's not. The jute is burning. It's not a very strong flame. And neither of these is surviving even little gusts of wind. Not at all. So that's kind of disappointing. On the other hand, neither of these would be our primary fire. Obviously, this would just be used to start a fire, but still, just a little bit of wind is putting it out. So you'd have to use it not in the open like we're doing, which I guess is common sense. But clearly the FireCord is doing better. It's doing a lot better. So there's something else I want to try. It's going to require a little bit of balling up, I think. And this should be fun. Let's see how this does. Okay, high hopes, happy thoughts. Well, that's not doing too good. I am scraping a flat edge onto this bar here. But you know what? Let's not get too down on the FireCord, because something's telling me that the jute is not going to do too much better. See how the jute goes. Oh, that was almost. I wonder if I'm going to work through this whole bar before one of these things catches on fire. Let's see. Come on. You know you want to light on fire. You know you do. I want one of these things to catch on fire from sparks before we're done here today. Sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. All right. Well, I don't know how much more I should keep going before we just decide that that is not a practical use of our tools here. So I think unless you've got an actual fire starting source, this stuff is not very I don't want to say useful. I think it's useful. It'll start your fire. It'll give you that larger kind of kindling source to start a larger fire, but the whole idea, I thought, was so that in an environment where you don't have one of these, you can use these tools to set something else on fire, you know? So at least the FireCord has those extra uses, you know, built in. I mean, again, you know, if you're willing, if you got your, you know, some waterproof matches, or you got, you know, some, I mean, any matches, I guess, if you've got the ability to light it on fire, your FireCord works pretty well to set off whatever it is that you want your main fire to be. The FireCord also, you know, as long as you've got some way to light it on fire, that jute works when you bunch it up enough and you've got enough of it. I guess I was hoping for better results, you know? But at least now we know. At least we're not heading off into a survival situation where we're expecting to use kind of survival-oriented tools for this stuff to work, and we're not sitting in a cold, rainy place waiting for a ferro rod to light the stuff on fire. You know, we have a test now to show us how it's going to work. So, yay. All right, well, guys, I guess, you know, that's what we're doing. That's what you can test with this. So, you know, for the added expense of all the fanciness of this, if you're carrying it as a fire starting device, do you want to play with it?
Yeah.
It's a Kylo Ren tattoo. We got to put it back on. It came off. If you're using this stuff as a fire starting device, this is just my opinion, there's better fire starting devices for cheaper price that you can carry. I'd rather have a good, reliable, affordable 550 cord and a good, affordable, reliable fire starter as two separate elements in my gear than, you know, have to sacrifice one for the other and have one that's mediocre at best. You know, and so I'd like to hear your opinions, you know, so maybe it saves weight and space to combine them as one, but really, except in an extreme emergency, I personally don't see the value in either one of these products as strictly a fire starting device. Now, if you don't mind the extra expense and you want to carry, say, FireCord as your standard 550 cord, and then you have an extra fire starting element in it, great. I like FireCord. It's expensive, but I like that it gives you the extra versatility of what comes in it. But I would not carry either one of these as saying, hey, this is my emergency fire starting stuff, and that's it. I would want to have something else. And we've seen so many other good fire starting products that I think there's a lot of other choices for a lot less money. So that's just my 2 cents. But, you know, you guys decide, and let's talk about it. What do you think? So for those of you who wanted to see how this stuff actually works, I hope I did some practical testing that is good for you, that kind of answers your questions. If not, tell me what else you'd like to see, and, you know, we'll run through that too. I was not into starting a whole fire in the backyard today, which is why I didn't actually load stuff up and start, you know, a fire under it. But anyway, guys, there it is. Another viewer request. I love doing viewer request videos. You are all totally, absolutely 153.78921% awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.